Hello? Fee? Is that you? When there is a discussion, be it in written form or in audio or video form, about fear and its influence in public speaking moments, the common way that it is described are the bodily symptoms or sensations of your adrenal system working. So that's the shakes in your body or the heart racing or body sweats or maybe a drop in temperature or parchness or dryness in your mouth. And that is very common for a lot of people when they're about to step up onto a physical stage to present or present online for something that is important to them. But fear actually shows up in very many different ways. And sometimes it is so subtle in how fear shows up in your different speaking publicly moments that it's hard to realize or acknowledge that it is actually fear that is causing a bit of a barrier or resistance to where you are now and where you want to be, and knowing it's that how you speak or communicate or connect in this in-between moment that helps you get from one to the other. This is why I titled this episode, Hello Fear, Is That You? There are many different ways that you can acknowledge fear working or influencing your daily experiences. For example, fear can show up as desperation. For example, you may need to do a sales presentation or a sales pitch to a new client or try and retain their business as you know there's a competitor, nipping at your heels or trying to cut your grass or whatever saying that you use in your region to just trying to get your client away from you. And so this sales presentation or sales pitch is really important. But that fear of losing them or fear of the outcome or fear of not knowing whether you have considered everything that your customer wanted you to consider during this presentation may come across as desperation. You're desperate to get the sale. You're desperately to do well. You're desperate to, speak well or present well. There's that element of desperation. And that is how fear can show up in that moment. Fear can also show up as an eagerness to please. Now, there's a difference between serving and helping and an eagerness to please. It's a way where it becomes no longer a natural act of service. Instead, it becomes a little over the top. And what over the top means to you, it's going to be different to what it means to me. But if you think it could be in eager to please, you'll just need to reflect on different circumstances where you like to help people, you're there to serve people, and the level of intensity that you do it in. And I think that eagerness to please is when that intensity is really high to please them. You want to make sure they're pleased. Are you happy with everything? You're really attached to them being happy and pleased with the outcome of your service. And that is another way fear can show up in your speaking moments. I've worked with many clients that have procrastination as a way that fear shows up in their lives. And most commonly, it's when they've got an important presentation or they got to deliver a message that's important to them, or there's a great amount of uncertainty to what will be the outcome of them having a conversation or them going to a networking event or them sitting into an interview for a new job or new business proposal. And in the hours before their presentation or interview or the whole day before or the week before, it depends on the importance and the individual, there is this whole episodes of procrastination that shows up in how they work, and it impacts their quality of their work or duration that it takes to get things done. And so procrastination is another way fear shows up in speaking moments. Perfectionism. I am a recovering perfectionist. It's something that I have struggled with in many instances in my professional career. And I realize that when I have this need, this higher than usual need of being like everything being perfect, looking great, not releasing any of my work or information or avoiding the conversation or the meeting or webinar unless everything is perfect, I realize that is a way fear is showing up. When that need for it to be so well or perfect becomes so prominent. If you are somebody who generally likes to think, but then you realize you're going into overthinking mode, and you know deep down inside you're thinking too much about it. You could have stopped, you thought of it enough, you came up with all of the worst case, best case, all the in-between case scenarios of what could happen, may happen, probably won't even happen, and you're just overthinking things. This is another way fear can show up as well in your speak publicly moments. And exhaustion. Exhaustion is a little difficult to pick up on, but usually the exhaustion piece comes in when our adrenal system is tired. We've overused it because of the stress of the speaking moments. We're overly desperate. We're way too eager to please. We procrastinate way too much. We, strive for perfection, and we spend too many hours and energy on perfection, and we spend so much time and mental energy on overthinking, and then exhaustion comes out of these things. So this exhaustion is another indicator that fear could be influencing your speaking moments. It's important to acknowledge the different ways fear can play in your life. And when you acknowledge that it is fear, that is a fantastic first step, because there is a way that you can then embrace this fear, go with the flow of this fear, and use it to help you speak well, to help you establish a better connection with who you are talking with, to help you figure out how to be yourself while speaking in different environments or settings. This is something I have researched and I have practiced in many situations in my own life, from the very easy, non-fearful or low fearful situations that I need to speak in, to facing my ultimate fear of performing stand-up comedy back in October 2022. It's a process. And because it's a process, it is something that you can learn. But first, become aware of the many different ways that fear of speaking in different situations can show up in your daily experience, and acknowledge it. When you acknowledge it, you know you can then do something about it if you decide that that's what you would like to do. Thank you for being part of the Speaking Afraid journey with me. I'm very honored to be your guide, and I look forward to seeing what's next along this Speaking Afraid journey with you. All the best.